Hello, welcome back to MC Media's vlog thingy. Sorry we've been gone, but we've been ill and busy, haven't we?
Yes, very much on both counts.
So what we're covering today then?
We're going to cover interviews and some tips and tricks on actually doing effective interviews, some of the setups that make them more appealing and engaging to your viewers, and just covering how we do them.
Yep, that is correct. That is what we're covering.
Hello, it's Chris here, and here I'm going to give you a few tips about how to conduct interviews. So this is a basic setup for an interview. You'll notice you've got your interviewee, interviewer sitting opposite each other with a camera just behind the interviewer. So I guess this is kind of tip number one. Now, the reason that you want to have the camera to one side of the interviewer is so you can play by the rule of thirds. As you can see here on Mark, that he is on frame left, looking towards frame right, as opposed to me, who is on frame right, looking to frame left. Now, you always want your interviewee to be on one side, looking to the other. That allows you to have something called look room, and it also keeps the eye lines right, so you can clearly see that Chris is looking from right to left, looking at Mark, and the same for Mark looking at Chris. The next tip is don't use closed questions, always use open questions. There's a very good reason why I asked closed questions in this interview, and it's because I knew I was never going to get an in-depth answer from a group of kids.
So you guys having fun today?
Yeah!
Do you think you're going to win today?
Yeah!
My next tip is don't always stick to the questions that you've got written down. Now, they are handy to have, but if your interviewee starts talking about something that you think is really interesting or amazing, follow that thread, even if you haven't got questions written down, because then you can end up with stuff like this.
So do you wish there was something like this when you were growing up that you could attempt?
Well, I do, yeah, I would have loved it. And I remember as a kid being a massively enthusiastic rugby player down in the southeast, so it couldn't be a lot further from here where I played. But, you know, I remember time and time again loving my rugby, but also time and time again and turning up and the match was cancelled because no one could raise a team, and this was cancelled and we were training with 8 people instead of playing in a tournament or a festival and that sort of stuff. So if there had been more organised tournaments and matches around, we would have loved it.
So what you might think is happening here is we've got 2 cameras set up, one on Mark, one on Chris. That's not actually true. What we did, and what you can do if you only have one camera, is afterwards turn the camera around to your interviewer and get them just to repeat the question, say, get them to ask the questions and get some nodding from them so you can actually hide some cuts.
So can you just tell us a little bit more about this rugby documentary project that you're working on?
We originally pitched the idea to the station manager. He's a big rugby fan, used to play, and he said, yeah, great, sounds fantastic. Go ahead and do it.
So hopefully you've enjoyed that and you've picked up some tips there. Anything in particular, Chris, that you want to highlight when you're doing interviews? No.
One of the best things that you can do in an interview is make your subject feel comfortable. If they feel awkward and like they don't want to be there, it's not going to be a good interview.
Ask a few little questions at the start of your interview and just put that person at ease by asking them some questions about themselves. Just get them talking about everyday things and just explain that's the style that you're going to do the interview in, and you'll get so much more out of them and it'll be so much more engaging for everybody who's watching. Nice little tip.
Well done. You managed to keep a tip under 5 minutes, so you beat your personal best.
Personal breast.
Yep.